to New Rockstars, I'm Erik Voss, and as Avengers Doomsday production shifts to places like Bahrain, we are now getting a clearer sense of who is in this movie, and considering what groupings of Marvel characters are returning in settings that Marvel could best shoot in Bahrain, we can now make some big assumptions about Battleworld and Doomsday that I'm eager to get all of your thoughts on. I seriously went way deeper into the social media postings of individuals I never thought would matter to a Marvel movie, but here we are. So let's get into it. But first, we got some great Marvel-related designs like this new Avengers shirts available exclusive at our merch store, nerdriot.shop. A lot of these make awesome Father's Day gifts, and they go directly to supporting us at New Rockstars. Okay, let's recap what we know about Avengers Doomsday. Its original release date was May 2026, but recently it was pushed back to December 18th, 2026. But the film is very much still in production. That kicked off with a March 26th set share cast announcement live stream that revealed the following actors in the cast: Chris Hemsworth as Thor, Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm Invisible Woman, Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson Captain America, Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes Winter Soldier, Letitia Wright as Shuri Black Panther, Paul Rudd as Scott Lang Ant-Man, Wyatt Russell as John Walker US Agent, Tenoch Huerta as Namor, Eben Moss Backrack as Ben Grimm the Thing, Simu Liu as Shang-Chi, Florence Pugh as Yelena Belova, Kelsey Grammer as Hank McCoy Beast, Louis Pullman as Bob Reynolds Sentry, Danny Ramirez as Joaquin Torres Falcon, Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm Human Torch, David Harbour as Alexei Shostakov Red Guardian, Winston Duke as M'Baku, Hannah John Kamen as Ava Star Ghost, Tom Hiddleston as Loki, Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier Professor X, Ian McKellen as Eric Lyncher Magneto, Alan Cumming as Kurt Wagner Nightcrawler, Rebecca Romaine as Raven Darkholme Mystique, James Marsden as Scott Summers Cyclops, Channing Tatum as Remy LeBeau Gambit, Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards Mr. Fantastic, Robert Downey Jr. as Victor Von Doom Dr. Doom. Since then, we've gotten a Thunderbolts release and post-credit scene that was confirmed to be shot by the Russo brothers, who are directing Avengers Doomsday, on part of the set that they're using for Avengers Doomsday, the new Avengers Tower. And this scene showed the new Avengers witnessing the arrival of the Fantastic Four in the 616 universe. Alan Cumming also revealed in various interviews that Kurt Wagner Nightcrawler will have a fight scene with Pedro Pascal, Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, and Cumming said that the makeup process for Nightcrawler was reduced from 4 hours to like 90 minutes thanks to some stick-on tattoos. And then on May 2nd, Scooper Jeff Snyder posted additional names for the Doomsday cast without naming any official source, and he said to take this with a grain of salt. And it does just kind of feel like Jeff Snyder looked through everyone else on the list of Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, supporting characters from these movies, and Loki cast members. But here's who else he said is going to be in the movie: Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner the Hulk, Benedict Wong as Wong, Brie Larson as Carol Danvers Captain Marvel, Don Cheadle as James Rhodes War Machine, Karen Gillan as Nebula, Jeremy Renner as Clint Barton Hawkeye, Iman Vellani as Kamala Khan Ms. Marvel, Denai Guerrera Okoye, Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie, Kihui Kwan as O.B. Ouroboros, Tiona Paris as Monica Rambeau, Will Poulter as Adam Warlock, Dominique Thorne as Riri Williams, Xochitl Gomez as America Chavez, Sophia DiMartino as Sylvie, Tatiana Maslany as Jennifer Walters She-Hulk, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II as Wonder Man, Catherine Newton as Cassie Lang, Wunmi Musaku as B-15, Lashana Lynch as Maria Lambeau, Famke Janssen as Jean Grey, Halle Berry as Aurora Monroe Storm, Kai Zen as Phyla from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Owen Wilson as Mobius, Chris Pratt as Peter Quill, Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury, Charlize Theron as Clea, Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange, Haley Atwell as Peggy Carter, Chris Evans as Steve Rogers, Bradley Cooper as Rocket Raccoon, Vin Diesel as Groot, and Maria Bakalova as Cosmo. We did it, guys. We just named a whole bunch of MCU characters. I'm sure some of them will be in this movie, but some online have jumped on the fact that Sophia DiMartino, who played Sylvie in Loki, was spotted in London posting this image with the caption "Playgrounds," but you know, DiMartino also lives in London and might have just been taking some kids to a playground. But also, this week, an attendee at a Disney merch conference claimed, according to a Disney exhibitor presentation to various product partners, that Deadpool is also on the list for the Doomsday cast. Of course he would be. And on May 22nd, Hugh Jackman played coy about an appearance in Avengers Doomsday on ABC's The View.
There are rumors you're going to appear in Avengers Doomsday. That's word on the curb. I know you can't say much, but can you say something?
I really can't say much, except when you say appear, more like dominate and destroy every other character. I'm kidding. No, I really have nothing to add. And if I did, I would find a really cool way to not say it, but I actually have nothing to add.
Okay,
So,
okay.
yeah, so that was uncool.
So all of that was the background for this latest news of the Avengers Doomsday cast and crew moving on to the country of Bahrain this week. On Getty Images this week, we saw a big photo taken at the Adres Marasi Al Bahrain Resort. From left to right, White, that's Danny Ramirez as Joaquin Torres Falcon, Winston Duke as M'Baku, then 3 guys who are not part of the Doomsday crew, but more on them in a bit. Then Doomsday co-director Joe Russo, then Anthony Mackie, Sam Wilson Falcon, Alex Livinali, Atuma, who was Namor's blue-skinned lieutenant from Talokan and Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Hannah John Kamen, Ava Starr, Ghost from Thunderbolts, Simu Liu, Shang-Chi, then Mabel Cadena, Namor's other Talokanil lieutenant from Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Letitia Wright as Shuri, and Tenoch Huerta, Namor. Now, we last saw Atuma and Namor in Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Atuma fought Okoye, who was suited up in the Midnight Angel armor in the ocean battle on the Sea Leopard ship. Okoye impressed Atuma by speaking in the Yucatec Maya language. Ultimately, though, she blasted him off the side of the ship. He's still alive, though. One of the final scenes of the film was Namor shaming Namor for bending the knee to the Wakandans, but Namor reassured her that an alliance with Wakanda will make Talokan stronger than ever when the surface world comes for them. In that conflict, maybe what is now being shot in Bahrain. I'm a dad. I love my son, but sometimes I have work to do and I need to focus. When the joyous babbling of a toddler is more distracting than adorable, Raycon's everyday headphones with hybrid active noise cancellation are the perfect solution. We fell in love with Raycon because of their earbuds, but the everyday headphones might be my new favorite. I love the hybrid active noise cancellation feature. We have an open office here at New Rockstars, and having my Raycons on really helps me tune out everybody else's chatter so I can just focus on breaking this stuff down for you guys, and helps me avoid the imposter syndrome I feel when I'm really bad at yes-anding their bits. Plus, they've got a 40-hour battery life, so a single charge is enough to get you through a full work week, and they're super comfortable, so it's easy to have them on all day. If you forget to charge them, a quick 15-minute sip will get you 2 hours of battery life. To get a pair of Raycon everyday headphones with hybrid active noise cancellation for the busy dad in your life, just go to buyraycon.com/newrockstars15 to get 15% off site-wide. Brought to you by Raycon. There are various other glamour shots of these cast members hanging out at this resort, laughing it up at this reception, golfing, and yes, Joe Russo is with them, but I'm guessing Anthony Russo stayed at the Red Roof Inn by the airport. Just kidding, there are no Red Roof Inns in Bahrain. You may be asking, why Bahrain? Well, undoubtedly, there are some film tax credits being offered by this country, and by posing in these photos, I'm sure the production is getting at least lodging expenses covered in exchange for their movie stars promoting the tourism at one of Bahrain's biggest resorts. The man standing directly to the left of Joe Russo is Bahrain's Sheikh Nasser, aka Sheikh Nasser bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the prince third in line in the Bahrain royal family and head of the government's Supreme Council for Youth and Sports. On his own very active social media, he's posted photos of him holding Mjolnir in the Captain America shield. Sheikh Nasser also posted this group photo as an Instagram story and tagged Vanessa Kirby in addition to everyone else. So I think we can also assume that Susan Storm will also be part of whatever scenes they are shooting in Bahrain. But in this case, she managed to activate her invisible woman powers for this photo. For that matter, Sheikh Nasser should have also tagged Drax and John Cena. Having Marvel Studios' biggest production shooting in the country of Bahrain is something that apparently goes to the highest ranks of the government. We also know that in addition to staying in Bahrain, they are shooting some production in the desert parts of the country. The director of photography of Avengers Doomsday, Newton Thomas Seigel, posted to his Instagram this photo captioned Bahrain crane porn. And if you brighten this photo, something I'm sure this film's director of photography really loves, you can see Winston Duke in the corner in costume as M'Baku. So based on this context, let's look again at that group photo. We have the Black Panther Wakanda Forever group, Shuri, M'Baku, Namor, Atuma, and Namora. And then joining that group are Captain America and Falcon coming from Captain America Brave New World, and Shang-Chi, as well as Ghost from Thunderbolts, and probably also Susan Storm from Fantastic Four First Steps after she has come to this world. I'm going to assume that Ava Starr's involvement has something to do with her ghost phase shifting power set. And the same might be said for Vanessa Kirby's Sue Storm. I feel like after the Thunderbolts post-credit scene, maybe Ava Starr and Sue Storm could find some common ground. One woman who can phase shift, another woman who can flicker in and out of visibility, and the two of them could broker a peace between the New Avengers and the Fantastic Four. I see Bahrain being chosen at least partly for its geography. The desert location could be for a desert flat to look like the Void, or to show a post-incursion Wakanda, a Wakanda that has been wiped clean from the 616 Earth and transported somewhere else. Also, the desert location could be a post-incursion incursion Talokanil in a devastated Earth where that part of the ocean has been drained or evaporated. It really does seem like we're gonna see Sam Wilson and Joaquin Torres as part of their group of the old Avengers that also includes Shang-Chi, and Sue Storm could team up with them as the former head of her universe's Future Foundation, and together they could be addressing some crisis in a part of the world with the Wakandans and the Talokanil. That, or this particular group, might have just ended up together in a corner of the void as Dr. Doom is in the process of building Battleworld. And not for nothing, but Olga Kurylenko also posted on her social media that she was in Bahrain working on a Sunday, and since her character, Antonia Dreykov, Taskmaster, totally died in Thunderbolts, I'm getting the feeling that if she's actually part of this, whatever they're shooting in Bahrain could include a kind of afterlife or void or Battleworld realm where fallen characters can be resurrected in new forms. But you know, Olga Kurylenko was also left off of Marvel's official March 26th Doomsday cast announcement. I don't know if we can trust this. But some context on Bahrain. Bahrain is an archipelago between Qatar and Saudi Arabia with desert landscapes and a lot of coastlines with warm waters to shoot aquatic scenes. So we might just be looking at a picturesque desert beach battle with part of the Avengers, the Wakandans, the Talokanil, and Susan Storm. The Bahrain island chain even has some artificial islands where the Doomsday production could have constructed whatever they wanted, some post-apocalyptic structures or just some fantasy sets that we will never see until the movie comes out. And that part is why I think Bahrain was actually chosen for this, because Bahrain is known as a wealthy nation for its banking and its tourism industries, but perhaps most importantly, unlike a lot of Disney film productions in the Atlanta area, the UK, Spain, Australia, Bahrain is a kingdom and a part of the world where it's just a lot harder for paparazzi to quickly hop on a cheap flight there, grab an affordable hotel room, and then set up their drone cameras to record footage for set leaks from any part of the country they want. Like, there are no Ryanair flights and Travelodge lodging options in Bahrain, which was a country who said, Arab Spring, not here. Yeah, in 2011, there were reports of journalists from the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, Al Jazeera, and Channel 4 who were denied visas to cover the protests, and reports of CNN journalists who were detained, which was really all part of a crackdown effort to contain the protests that the Bahrain government at the time said were part of an Iran-funded effort to topple their Sunni government. Yeah, a lot of international relations there that I'm not much of an expert on, but either way, is like Tony Droney from Marietta, Georgia, gonna risk shoving his drone in the overhead in a $3,000 trip just to give some subreddit some scoops? Probably not. I just think it is very funny that the Russo brothers hinted that they had some special plan for dealing with set leaks that they teased in an interview with Collider's Steven Weintraub back on March 5th.
Do you know when we're going to start hearing about casting and like which characters are coming in?
Never.
No.
Not until you go to the theater.
Right.
Sure. I don't believe that because there's things called set picks and whatnot, but
we're pretty good about shutting that down.
We've sort of strategized to hopefully be effective with that.
Yeah, not only were they proven wrong like 3 weeks later with the March 26th set share announcement that told us a lot of the people who are going to be in the movie, when they said we sort of strategized, I just assumed that they meant some kind of special reflective canopy cover that they would put over the set, or just some anti-drone technology where they could zap stuff with laser pointers. No. Apparently they meant we're going to cozy up with a rich island country that paparazzi are never going to go anywhere near. So comment down below with your thoughts on all this, and a special thanks to one of our YouTube members, Rick Denmon, our man from Tampa, who supports us at the executive producer level. Thanks, Rick. Follow me at EA Voss and subscribe to all 3 channels in the New Rockstars network for breakdowns and news coverage of everything you love. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.